Deep within the grounds of an ancient castle in Ireland, there is a small watchtower completely covered in ivy. And if you listen very closely on a dark and stormy night, some say you can hear the ghost of a woman knocking inside it to try and get out. It's me. Welcome to the channel. Today, we are going to Ireland to explore the legend of the lady who haunts the ivy-covered tower. The story comes from County Londonderry, also known as the County of the Oak, and the home of the famous Giant's Causeway. And it's here where along the north coast of the county you will find the Bailey Castlet, which dates back to between 1470 and 1641. Back then, this area was fought over by two factions, the O'Can and the McQuillan. The O'Cons had fortified themselves in this area with several castles, including this one that stands alone today. It's thought that this castle was attacked at least 3 times by the Anglo-Normans, but each time they were beaten back. During the siege, the commander of the castle would have kept watch from this tower for incoming soldiers or ships, and sounded an alarm if any were spotted. Then the men would quickly race to the top of the walls and defend the castle. The soldiers would not have used bows and arrows, because it was too easy for the defenders to just duck under the cover of the thick stone walls. So instead, these castles would have been equipped with what was called a murder hole. These are holes drilled into the top of the walls and were large enough for a man to fit through. They were sometimes even equipped with spikes or bars to help pull the unfortunate victim up through the opening, so they could be executed at the top of the wall. This is where our story starts. During the 16th century, there was a woman living in the town below the castle who was engaged to be married. Her name has been lost to history, but she will forever be known as the Lady of the Ivy Tower. One day, while walking around the town, her and her lover met up with some friends and went for a drink at the local tavern. But after many drinks, they left and headed down to the harbor to take a boat ride. This is when they were captured by rival soldiers and brought up to the top of the Balloch Castle. There, they were locked up in the highest tower of the castle. The soldiers wanted to make an example of this couple, and so the next morning, they took them to the top of the walls and prepared to execute them. They left the man dangling from the top of the walls as he begged for his life, promising to never go against the kingdom again. And then they dropped the anchor. But right before the soldier was about to deliver the final blow, the lady screamed, "Don't do this. Kill me instead." She jumped from the walls and fell 80 feet to the ground, but miraculously survived. They then took the man down from the walls and threw him into the dungeon. But he eventually escaped during the night. He then raced down to the bottom of the harbor and swam out to an island, where he lived out the rest of his days. But the lady was not so lucky. The soldiers carried her up to the highest tower and bricked her inside. Wall by wall, they built her a tomb, intending to hide her body from her family. To stop her from coming back and haunting them, they filled the room with dead animals and the bodies of criminals that died in the dungeon. Years later, during a storm, the locals heard a knock coming from the tower. At first, they ignored it, thinking it was the wind or perhaps the rain. But then it started to get louder and more frantic. Some brave souls went up to the tower to investigate, only to find that the door was locked from the inside. They shouted into the darkness, asking whoever was in there to calm down, but no reply came back. Only the sound of the knocking continued until the early hours of the morning. Since then, the legend has continued. On stormy nights, the ghost of the lady can be heard knocking inside the tower. Some believe that she's trying to get out and tell her tale, while others believe she's knocking to warn the townspeople of an impending storm. The thing is, nobody knows if she actually died in that tower. After all, nobody ever went back up there to check, and so the mystery continues. Did she die from her fall? Was she really entombed in the tower? Or is she still stuck in there to this day? Who knows? Maybe one day someone will climb the tower and find out. But let me know what you think down below. Should someone investigate the tower? And do you think the lady is trapped inside? Now, as I said, The tower is located in Northern Ireland, a country that has no shortage of ghosts and haunted places. And if you want to learn more about these terrifying tales, I recommend checking out the series on the subject. As always, I would like to thank my supporters for helping me make these videos. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to show your support. And remember, stay in school. You never know when you might need to know how to read. Bye.